What's going on, people? Welcome to the United Stand. Welcome to your Friday night hotspot show, man. I just made up a new name for the show, Hotspot Show. Don't even know where that came from. Loads to get through tonight, man. Honestly, loads to get through tonight. We're going to be talking about Jadon Sancho over Bellingham over Jadon Sancho. We're going to talk about that. Christian Falk coming out and basically saying that Man United are interested in not interested in Jadon Sancho anymore and want Jude Bellingham. We've got to talk about that. We've got an update on Edinson Cavani. We're going to talk about Joel Glazer's, whatever you want to call what he did, the letter, a little bit about that. The fact that he's going to take some money out of his own pocket. We'll talk about that. A little bit on Declan Rice as well. Luke Shaw, new contract. Donny van der Beek as well. A little bit on Andreas Pereira. But there's a lot to talk about and there's a lot to get into. So we got to start at the top, and that is this Sancho or Bellingham, because I think it's crazy what's going on. Like all of a sudden we're now linked with Jude Bellingham, and I just cannot see that happening for the life of me, for many reasons, which we'll get into. What I do want to say though at the top of the show is it was Claude's funeral today. I did see it on social media and stuff as well. It was Claude's funeral, and it looked like he had a really good send-off, man. So thoughts of his family and friends and all the fans of Claude and all the Arsenal fans and all the football fans around the world, to be honest. The big guy got sent off, so big up to Claude, man. Genuine guy. Honestly, even since it happened, I still think about it a lot, and it was just crazy. So big up to Claude. He had a great send off today. I spoke to a couple of people who were down there, and they said it was a positive day as well for himself and the family, and it was good to see Claude get driven past the Emirates and stuff like that. Big up to Claude and the family, and everyone around the world who rates Claude. Big up to Claude. Rest in peace, my friend. He's gone to rest now. Jadon Sancho. Now this. Christian Falk says, quote, and I quote, Christian Falk, very respectable journalist. We've had him on United Stand. We've got him coming up in a couple of weeks, actually, as well, which would be interesting. But he basically says that Man United are focusing on signing Jude Bellingham from Borussia Dortmund instead of Jadon Sancho. He says Dortmund themselves have a replacement for Sancho and would therefore sell him. But the English team, which is Man United, are now simply focusing on Bellingham instead. At Man United at the moment, there is nothing at all on the Sancho interest. On the contrary, a move is not likely. Jude Bellingham is a fantastic player. He is. He's a top draw player. Should we have got him earlier last season? Yes. Before he signed for Dortmund? Yes. He was at Carrington being shown around. You know, he spoke to Sir Alex, I'm led to believe. The man was in the kid was in the back of the flipping, what do you call it? The Mercedes Vito or whatever it is, the blacked out thing, driving into Carrington for us to convince him to come to Man United. He came with his family and he went, you know what? I'm good. He chose Dortmund. Why in a year's time, after he's only 1 year into his Dortmund contract, is he going to ask to leave after the season of his life? Let's be honest. He's been absolutely brilliant. Like, people are saying he needs to be on a plane in the Euros. Now, maybe you may say that may be a push too far, but he was playing Champions League, played against Man City, and in the two legs, he looked very good. Got himself a goal as well in the second leg and should have had a goal in the first leg. And just really, I'm not going to say bossed the game, but he played really well. And he's a fantastic young player. Would he make Man United better? Yes. Would I like him? Yes. Does it make sense? No. Jadon Sancho only has 1 year left on his deal, maybe 2 max, but I think it's 1 year. Dortmund are open to selling him. They've already lined up his replacement. We had the saga that was last year. They probably had a gentleman's agreement with him that he can go this year. And would Sancho make us a better team? Yes. In truth, we need both. If you want to talk about just who do we need more, we need both. You could argue, and it would be a valid point in my opinion, that actually you probably need Jude Bellingham more because we need a central midfield player. But is Bellingham a CDM? No. He's a box-to-box midfielder. He's good on the ball. He's good in the pass. He's good in the tackle. And he can shoot. He's an all-round midfielder. So he actually probably doesn't fit the CDM mold that we actually need. But because we've got Ahmad, because we've got Mason Greenwood on the right, and we look like we're going to we're going to keep Cavani, you could argue that we need Jude Bellingham more. But there's an argument for both. But what matters most about this is not really who we think we need more. It's what's likely and unlikely. And what's massively unlikely for me, in my opinion, is Dortmund to say, we've had this kid for 1 million for 1 year, and he wants to leave. Or do you want him instead of Sancho, who you came in for last year? We told you to piss off because you wouldn't pay the money. COVID happened, or well, it was COVID last year, but COVID continued. He's a year let down on his contract, and you can have him for less money, like £75 million, 90 million euros, whatever you want to call it. I think that's more likely, if I'm honest. I can't see. And also, what the hell is Jude Bellingham going to cost? You look at the English tax, which is put on every English player that does well. You look at how well he's transitioned from Birmingham City to Dortmund in that 1 year. You look at the level he's been playing at, not just in the Bundesliga, but in the Champions League. Yes, they went out, but you can clearly see his levels. What they're going to charge? Over 100 million for him as well. And they bought him for like, what, 30 million, 40 million? So from Birmingham. So we missed that boat last year. So if we do go for Jude Bellingham, I wouldn't be angry because he's a very good player. But it just wouldn't make sense. Like, I don't understand why we would go for him now. And more to the point, I don't even understand why he would be available now. How the hell is he going to be available now? Now, look, what would it look like if Jude Bellingham came to Man United? Well, you'd have McTominay, Fred, Bellingham, Pogba. Donny, let's just face it, he's not a central midfielder in Ollie's eyes. Could that work? Well, Pogba and Bellingham, could that work? Not really. We need a CDM. You need the ball winner. You need someone whose sole focus is going to be to win back that ball. Yes, to be fair, a box-to-box maybe next to Pogba could do it, but with how Pogba plays and the reluctance to Ollie to trust him in that position, God knows if he has a future in that position. So I think he only has a future in that position if he signs a thoroughbred CDM who can do the role that Fred and McTominay do together. As two separate people, we need someone who can to morph into one hybrid of those two players and do that by himself. Then maybe play next to Pogba with better balance. The same way Pogba can play amazingly well next to Kante or Matuidi back in the day. It's the same principle of why we need someone of a Kante ilk, someone who can control that midfield defensively by themselves. I don't necessarily think Jude Bellingham is that. So if he did come, it would probably give us a bit more of a headache. That's why I think it just doesn't make sense. We need a defensive midfielder. Matic is probably going to be on his way out, and we know in Fred and McTominay they're not defensive midfielders. Roman Singh says, you really think he would have played under Ollie? No, he would have been sitting on the bench being bored. Well, that's an interesting point, Roman. You look at what we've done with Donny van der Beek, and you look at how we've used young players. You look at what's happened with Ahmad, although he's at a different stage of his development. Would Jude Bellingham have walked straight in and started, or would he have been mostly on the bench? Because one thing you do get at Dortmund, and this is testament to Jude Bellingham, is game time. I believe there's many reasons why Jude Bellingham chose Dortmund, but one of the biggest reasons, he would have looked at where he would have got game time, and I think he would have got big assurances, right, from Dortmund that he's going to be a main player. Like, you know, when you sign a player on FIFA and you give them the squad role, you've got like what, sporadic, crucial, prospect, important first team, whatever. He would have got important first team, and with Ollie, he probably would have got prospect or sporadic. Do you see what I'm saying? And him and his agent with his family probably thought, they got McTominay. He's like the young guy that they're really trying to push. Are you, Jude, going to be able to go in and push him out? Maybe that. And also, the challenging for trophies, yeah, you could argue that it's much of a muchness, but then look, Dortmund went further than we did in the Champions League. And they don't always, they kind of compete for the league. They haven't this year, but they have done in previous years. So he probably looked at it and thought, I'm going to play more there. And the biggest thing is the track record that Dortmund have for developing young players. He probably looked at the story of Jadon Sancho and thought, flipping it. Look at him. You know what I mean? A lot of young players have gone in there. Look at Ousmane Dembele. He made his name there too. Aubameyang, not so much. He wasn't that young when he went there. But again, the progression of players. Mkhitaryan was there. Like the progression of players through there that go on to bigger and better things. He probably looks at Haaland as well. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I can't see it happening. I think if we are going to get a player from Dortmund, it ain't going to be Jude Bellingham. It's going to be Sancho, if any, because it just doesn't make sense. Another thing is Sancho as well. They're probably starting to get a player who's going to get a bit fed up. Now, I'm not going to slander Sancho's name and start saying that he's going to down tools or he's going to start causing issues, because one thing I was sure of last year after speaking to some people around Jadon Sancho, and we can clearly see it anyway from a media point of view, was that he's not that type of player. He's not the guy who's going to upset the apple cart. He's not the guy who's going to start talking shit and create discontent within the ranks. He's not the guy that's going to make it difficult and be vocal. I mean, he's not going to get his agent to go on screen and start saying, oh, well, you know, Jadon, they're not letting him leave and all of this stuff. He's just going to go about his business and play his football, which actually he ended up having a few injuries this year, plus a little bit of bad form, but then he turned it around and has actually done okay. So, but with that said, with another year gone and the gentleman's agreement he probably had from last year, because what we do know for a fact is that Jadon Sancho was ready to go. He was ready to go. If we would have paid the fee, he would have been on the plane coming to Manchester United. The personal terms were sorted. He'd spoken with Ollie. He'd spoken with the club, and the agent fees, everything was sorted. Just that Man United didn't want to pay the fee. So Jadon Sancho won't just be erased from his memory. Like, he's still going to be on it. He's still going to want to come. I think if we reach out for him. Someone just said there in the free seats, go Chelsea. Said Son Fuon. Maybe if Chelsea coming for him. I mean, you look at what they've got though. They've got Callum Hudson-Odoi sitting on $100,000 a week, hardly getting a game. Maybe they might move him on. Maybe bring Sancho in. Pulisic, Mount, Ziyech can all play wide positions. Havertz sometimes plays there, but more centrally. Werner can play on the left or the right. They've got a very diverse attacking line, they do. And like I said, Chelsea hasn't even really included Hudson-Odoi. And when I have seen him, I'm not a Chelsea expert, but I've seen him like playing right wing back and that, filling in. Do you know what I mean? So he played right wing back against us. He started right wing back against us in that 0-0 draw, and he put in some good crosses. But what my point is that Sancho going to Chelsea could be on the cards, but again, probably unlikely. Like Mark Evans just says there, Werner, Ziyech, Havertz don't need Sancho. Exactly. I can't see them shelling out 80-90 million. 80-90 million to Chelsea is going to buy a number 9. Is going to go and get a proper striker. You know what I mean? Werner misses a lot of chances, and Havertz isn't really a 9. So yeah, enough about Chelsea. But yeah, I can't see Sancho going there. So really, if you're just joining us, basically, Christian Falk is basically saying that Man United are interested in Jude Bellingham. And not Jadon Sancho, and I just find it nuts. Honestly, I find it crazy. I don't get it. But Christian Falk as well, though. This is what makes me think is weird about this. Christian Falk is no mug. Like, he's a very, very trusted journalist. I don't really get involved in the tier system. You know, tier 1 this and tier 2 this. I don't really know about that. But what I do know is Christian Falk is a well-respected journalist and has very good information. And he doesn't talk shit. He don't really put out clickbaity stuff. He don't really put out stuff that he hasn't got off good merit. So for him to say that, I don't know. He must have got it from somewhere. He's not gonna go on record and say that if it's completely fabricated. That's not Christian Falk's style. Literally, he says Dortmund themselves have the replacement for Sancho and would therefore sell him. Which, okay, we all believe that. The talks have been about Sancho for the last month or so that have reignited again. But the English teams are now simply focusing on Bellingham. The English team are now simply focusing on Bellingham. And then he says at Man United right now, there is nothing at all on the Sancho interest. On the contrary, a move is unlikely. So, you know, like I said, I do trust Christian Falk. And I'm not just saying that because we've had him on the channel and, you know, we will be speaking to him again soon. And I'll ask him then as well. But it just seems weird. It just doesn't add up. I don't understand why they would be looking to get rid of Bellingham. And on top of that, you got to look at it like this. Dortmund, someone just said that Assel says, I expect Dortmund will lose several players this summer if they don't get top 4. Dortmund are trying to sort out the Haaland situation as well. What are they going to do? Sell him too? Like, what's going to happen here? Like, what are they going to do? Sell everyone? What are they going to do? Get rid of Sancho, get rid of Haaland, and get rid of Bellingham. That's arguably their 3 best players. Not arguably, it is their 3 best players. It is. Do you know what I mean? It is. All right, Hazard's there as well. He's decent. But that is their 3 top players, really. And they're young and prosperous as well. So I can't see that happening. I can't see them trying to deal with the Sancho thing, trying to deal with the Haaland thing. Plus, we've only had Jude Bellingham for a year. We're going to sell him. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. So, Christian, I ain't saying I don't believe you. What I'm saying is I'm kind of saying I don't believe him, innit? I am saying that. I am saying that. No, I don't believe the source that's told you that. I'm saying it like Christian Falk's watching, but I don't believe the source who's the information that he's been given. I just question that because it doesn't really make sense. Chalavani says, big up yourself, Flex. Big up yourself too, man. Haaland is definitely staying Dortmund for another season, says Sam Wilson. Well, if they do get the top 4, which I haven't checked the table yet, but I know they're not dead set to get it. They've got work to do. If they do get it, then yeah, you know what? A lot of these problems might go away for Dortmund because you haven't got to worry about what's Haaland going to do with no Champions League football. You're never going to have to worry. Well, you might still have to worry about Sancho if someone coughs up the money you want to go. And Bellingham's not going to want to go anywhere anytime soon anyway. Bellingham, and another thing, Bellingham seems like a proper humble kid. You know, you look at his interviews, so composed, so mature beyond his years. I can't see him saying, nah, I want to leave. I can't see it. He had the... This ain't a kid who ain't had the chance to go Man United. 12 months ago, 18 months ago, he was at Carrington. Getting driven around. He spoke to Sir Alex or whatever it is, or spoke to Ollie. He came there in the blacked out van. He's walked around Carrington. He's been in the canteen. He's seen the training pictures. I dare say they probably even took him to Old Trafford. Do you know what I mean? He said no. Why is he going to change his mind a year after? And I don't think, like young players get a taste of it. So, yeah, he could say, I've got a taste of Champions League. I should be playing in it. But with all due respect, he hasn't achieved anything yet. Like, he's only had 1 year of doing it at that level. He should stay there and do his thing and wait for the chance to get exposure, which he will get at Dortmund, to get links to other bigger clubs, which will happen at Dortmund. Leicester are losing. Go on Newcastle. Oh, flipping! I didn't even know they were playing. Wow, that will help. That will help massively. But yeah, back to this. So I can't see it happening. Pratik says, who would you prioritise, Sancho or Rice? That's a good question. I would say Rice. Sancho. If we got Jadon Sancho, of course it would improve our team. And a front 3, yeah, when you say it like this, if you said Sancho, Greenwood, Rashford, it's a very nuts front 3. Even if you said Sancho, Cavani, Rashford, Greenwood, Cavani, Sancho. Very nuts. I'm here for it. With Martial ready to come in as well. Let's not forget him. We don't know what's going to happen there. I don't think Tony's in any danger of being sold. I really don't. I think if they do, it's more work for Man United to do. This is a little bit off topic, talking about Tony, but I think, and it does tie into the question which was asked about prioritising Sancho or Rice. This summer is all about priorities. It's all about priorities, not just because of the positions we actually need to get better, but because of the market. This is what we need to remember. The market is a very shrewd market. It's a very... Well, COVID's ruined it. Do you know what I mean? The money that's about in the market is not sky high. You know what I mean? It's been a whole year of COVID. Last year, it was only kind of the beginning. Do you know what I mean? Well, it wasn't the beginning. March, April, May, June. So it was about 3-4 months into the pandemic by that time. And teams were already like, oh, we ain't really got that. We said no to Jadon Sancho 4 months into the pandemic. So now we've had, 14 months of the pandemic, 13 months, whatever, a year and a bit. Now we've had that. We ain't going to be able to, and the same with other clubs, you look at the financial trouble a lot of other clubs are in, we ain't going to be able to just start reeling around money. We need to move smart. Now, yeah, Joel Glazer, which I'll get onto in the letter and stuff, has talked shit about he's going to reinvest, he's going to invest in the squad and all this stuff. But what we do know is it's bullshit. Yeah, we might buy some players, but where's that been? Well, look at the summer we just had. Look at the summer we just had. Look at the summer we just had. That should tell you everything. Yeah, the summer before was obviously a bit better because we got Maguire and Wan-Bissaka, and who else did we get? Dan James in that, which wasn't amazing, but that's what we ended up with. But you can't say that Man United aren't going to be about priorities, which is why we want to do as little business as possible. And that takes me back to the Martial point, which is what I started with, which completely went out of my head because I went off on a tangent like I do. They're not going to want to sell Martial on top of that and have to just do more business. Unless, the only way I think Martial goes is if it's for money towards Kane with a mad swap at Tottenham. You know what I mean? Martial plus 50 million, 60 million or something. I don't know. Something nuts. Something that is so far left, we can't even fathom that happening. Do you know what I'm saying? Because especially if we keep Cavani, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's just more work for Man United to have to do. So even if Martial was a bit upset and wanted to leave, I still think they would say you're not going anywhere. Super chat here from Srinivasan. Hopefully I've said that right. Srinivasan. Apologies if I said the name wrong. I think United have a free run at him again, but I would rather have a centre-back CDM plus Rafinha than just Sancho alone. Rafinha for James should be easy. Yeah, Leeds did want James in the first place. And J.P says, man like flex, here's 20 pennies in Martial we trust. Big up J.P, man. Thanks for the contribution. And in Martial we trust. Yeah, it almost feels like, just quickly on Martial before I get onto the next stuff, it's almost like he's the forgotten man, isn't it? It's almost like he don't play for us anymore. People are kind of disrespecting. Are people disrespecting him, or are we just seeing what a number 9 whose levels does? I think it's the latter, personally. I think it's the latter, and I think what stops us from being able to admit that is we're very fond of Martial. Shannon Sharp. I know it's definitely not the Shannon Sharp. But Shannon Sharp says Martial was class last season. And he was. Not taking that away from him. But we have never seen the consistency in Martial as a number 9. And when you look at the way Cavani plays, I don't necessarily think that we're playing a million times better. Yes, we are playing slightly better than when Martial was up front. But we're still not... It's not like we're creating millions of chances for Cavani and he's in a completely different team to what Martial was in. So therefore, of course, the striker after Martial is going to score. I don't really think it's that. I think it's more of a situation of Cavani's just a better number 9 than man. It's just a fact, in my opinion. Actually, it's not just a fact, it's my opinion. But for me, I see it as Martial's a good player. I do think we should keep him. I'm looking to get to the City level of depth. So, yeah, you take out Rashford, you bring on Martial. You start Martial one day, you take out Rashford. You put Greenwood on one side, one day you take him out, you put Martial. You start Cavani up front one day, he's tired. You start Martial another day. You start Martial one day, you put Greenwood up front. Add Sancho into that as another nuts thing. That's where I want to get to. So I'm not really behind this whole just sell Martial because we've got Cavani. Definitely not, especially because Cavani ain't going to play all the games. We know that. He's going to be, 34, 35 this time next year. So, I'm not on this train of on the Cavani out, on the Martial out train. And on Cavani, actually, when Solskjaer was quizzed on it, he basically says, we don't have a time limit, but the more goals he scores, the better he becomes as a team. The better we become as a team, the bigger chance is that he'll want to have this feeling again. He also said, let's talk after Sunday again. Hopefully, maybe it's changed. Maybe he's decided. So we're playing the waiting game. But the noises coming out of the situation is that he's going to sign. You know what I mean? He's going to sign. And I'm here for that. I am massively here for that. I got time for Cavani. You see the goals again he scored yesterday. Should have had more as well. That one where he was clean through and tried to lob the keeper instead of putting his foot all the way through it. You could see the frustration in him. And then the next chance he got, he literally levered it about 1,000,000 miles per hour and nearly took the keeper's head off. And then he got his goal. Good finish as well. Good ball by Fred. And then another good header as well in the second half. So Cavani, I've got time for. I was very, very dubious. And we have to say, to finish off with Cavani before we move on, we have to say it worked. It worked. It's a panic buy that worked. I'm not gonna ever have it that it wasn't a panic buy. I'm never going to accept that. If someone tries to say, Flex, do you really think it was a panic buy? Maybe they knew all along. No. It was bad planning. We thought, shit, we've had a crap summer. We haven't sorted out what we needed to sort out. And Cavani's just there. So it worked. So, yeah. On Cavani, though, I will say it was a panic buy, but it's been a good panic buy and it's completely worked. And you know what? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This is when it definitely did work. Smash a like on the video, you lot. Subscribe if you lot are new. You lot know what to do. Free seats, get involved as well. Get your questions in. Get your super chats in, and they will be read out. Joel Glazer. Now listen to this. 9 of the 12 Super League clubs, including Man United, will make a collective donation of 15 million euros to good causes. I dare say some of that's going in UEFA's back pocket. I always say, don't sleep on UEFA. Like I said, they just got undone by a bigger bully. Yeah, they're not clean. They're not squeaky clean. But anyway, we've got Man United. Well, we're one of the 9 Super League clubs of one of the 12 Super League clubs as well. But out of that 9, we're one of them who are paying this. 15 million to good causes. So grassroots football might be in stuff in different communities. Might be different types of levels of football, might be football disabilities, anything, yeah, but good causes, right? And we will lose 5% of the UEFA competition revenue next season, but no ban. But here's the interesting bit. Simon Stone reported this as well. He said he was told that Joel Glazer will pay the Man United portion of the 15 million and the 5% deduction. This money will not come out of the club's funds. Now, there's a way of breaking this down, yeah? Now, like I always say, guys, I'm just a fan like you lot. I don't work in football finance. I'm not on the board of directors, which is probably why a lot of these people who do work at that level probably say, what do we know? But we do have sense, just basic common sense. Joel Glazer's saying he's going to pay the 15 million euro fine, yeah? And he's saying that the 5% that we're going to lose in revenue for next year's Champions League, he's going to pay that too, yeah? I don't even know what that'll roughly be, but 5% of it. Think about it like this. You could either say, oh, at least he's like owning up to it. At least he's gonna pay for it. Like that's the least he can do. You could swallow that, and that's up to you. Or you could say, okay, he's paying it out of his own money, but his own money is the money he took from us through dividends, through fucking us over. Sorry to swear. But that's what it is. You're not pulling the wool over my eyes, mate. The money you have, the reason why you're up, Joel Glazer, is at our expense. So really, you're using our money to pay off the fine. Make that make sense. Now, don't get me wrong. The money has to come from somewhere. But what I'm saying is that I'm not buying the fact that he's doing the good deed thing now. You will never catch me going, oh, you know what, fair play though. Fair play, Joel Glazer. At least he manned up. He was running from the reporter or walking from the reporter the other day in South Beach, walking into his Aston Martin car, whatever the fuck it was. Yeah. But now, at least now he's owned up to it. This is probably what it wasn't. Flex, take your cap off. I want to see your hair. What? Why do people think like I just don't have hair? Like I don't get it. Like I do like have hair. Like it's very nuts. Like I do. Look, I have hair. What? Like I've got hair. I got a trim. I got a fade. I got hair. I just like wearing caps. I've got a big forehead though, but I do have hair. Do you know what I'm saying? I do have hair. Anyway, back to Joel Glazer, yeah? Don't try it, bro. Like, Joel Glazer, if you're watching, don't try it. Like, we know what you're up to. 100% PR spin ball. This is what it is. Like, it's 2-0 Newcastle. Rah, Leicester in the mud. Look at that. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, Joel Glazer, don't try it. Don't take the money from us that you've been milking from us for 16 years, yeah, and then say, oh, I know, don't worry, I got the bill. That's like going out for a meal with Joel Glazer after he's been rinsing your peas and he goes, I got the bill, I'll pay. And you go, oh, what a nice guy, man. He's got the bill, he's got the tab. What do you mean, got the tab? Got the tab, it's my money. You've been taking money out of my arsehole for ages, mate. What are you talking about, bro? You don't try and come to me now and say you're gonna take the moral high ground and you're gonna pay the money. Bullshit. It doesn't wash. It does not wash, and I won't stand for it. So it's a PR spin when really the money that he's using is from dividends and yes, from the Buccaneers as well, whatever, because he's a rich man. But essentially, the money, we have to look at it this way, the money that he's using to pay off this fine is our money. Flex, you're wrong. Man United is owned by the Glazers, period. What? I don't understand what you're saying, Gershom, Harvey. Flex, you are wrong. Man United is owned by the Glazers, period. I know that. I'm confused. You're confusing me. But anyway, back to the point. So I don't know. I read parts of the letter today. I know Mark covered it today. And look, don't get me wrong. When you campaign for change and you start to see change happen, you don't always want to be the person to sit back and say, oh, but what about what you did before? But what about did before? You have to allow people to change. But we don't want words. We want action. Yeah? Fair enough. What I will say is this, though. The fact that the Glazers are being all of a sudden very vocal and making comments is, yes, of course, because the Super League collapsed. But it also is down to the fans. It is down to the protests. It is down to getting the Liverpool game locked off last week. It is down to Must, stepping up the engagement with them and putting pressure on them. Broski says, Flex, have you ever been racially profiled? Because I got racially profiled today. I says, Broski, of course I have, bro. Of course I have, and I hope you're all right if you experienced that. I know exactly what that's like. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, I will big up the fans. I will big up us because the reason why he's coming out and shitting himself a bit and trying to pacify us or trying to convince us that he's going to change is because we're on their necks, hypothetically speaking. We're on them. We're not letting it lie. We're not forgetting. You can get us Sancho in the summer if you want. We ain't forgetting. We're still coming. It's going to be a protest again on Thursday. Do you know what I mean? We're not forgetting. I hope it goes in the right way. But I'm seeing that there probably is going to be another one on Thursday. But we ain't forgetting what they're saying. So that I will give to the fans. That is how you get change. That is how you try and get tangible change. But we still need backup in legislation from the government. The government need to help us here. But the reason why Joel Glazer is putting out statements and all of that stuff is because he knows that we're onto them. The whole family do. Pratik says, Flex saying that he has hair is as true as the Glazers saying that they care about the club and the fans. Just joking. And big up, says Pratik. Big up yourself, Pratik, man. Big up yourself. It's all fun and games. And Hype Nation says, Flex, there is going to be a new petition next week to go with Tracy Crouch's review with the government to change this. Okay, well, hopefully that's true. Also, Mark touched on it earlier on today about waiting to see what it is the Glazers are going to do, because in the letter he's basically saying that we want to accelerate. I remember seeing it. We want to accelerate the discussions around fans being involved, fan ownership and stuff like that. But as Mark said, if you're going to give us shares, but them shares have no voting rights and no say, then what's the point? It's a token gesture. It's token gesture. And as well, which is another interesting point Mark's touched on, if they sell some of the club to the fans, they've still made money because they've still got the other half. That's such a piss take. We just want them out completely. But again, they're business guys. They're not going to sell the club. Hey Flex, Clifford says, hey Flex, Joel's statement means nothing. In his statement, it says that they won't happen. It won't happen till the end of the season, hoping fans won't protest. Come end of the season, nothing will happen. Yeah, exactly. Pacify the fans, say we're going to get involved in the end of the season and we'll talk about it then. Nah, mate. Nah. We'll talk about it now, thank you. The end of the season is round the corner. Do you know what I mean? It's next week. the end of the season or the week after, wherever it is. So many games right now, I can't remember, but I think it's the week after. So that's what you got to talk about. Do you know what I mean? That's really what you got to talk about. So for me, I'm not particularly bothered. I'm not particularly interested in what they have to say. Like Michael Jones says that's business, Flex. It is business, and they're running it like a business, and that's all they care about. But I'm not having the fact that Joel Glazer is telling us that, don't worry, I've got the fine. Almost like if your friend says, I'm going to pay your parking ticket, but they've been robbing money off you. Like, it's my money, bro. It's my money. It's our money. It's the club's money. So why are you... The whole reason you're up and you're nice is because you've been milking the Man United cash cow for 16 years. Simple as that. And we're still in stinky ass debt. Do you know what I mean? So I don't buy it at all. I really don't. I really don't buy it. And I refuse to believe it. The cheek, you know, he's lucky we didn't get banned as well. Actually, that's another point, because actually, let's talk about that quickly before I move on. There is no competition ban, and this is where I think it gets quite interesting the way you want to look at this, because there's two ways. One, you can say, thank God it's not a ban. We don't deserve that, because, you know, we've worked really hard this season. Hopefully, we win the Europa League, and we would have got Champions League through that. And obviously, we're going to finish in the top four. Touch wood, nothing bad happens. Leicester are losing as well. We touch wood, yeah, we would have gotten the Champions League that way. So it would have been unfair to kick us out. That's one side of it. But the other side of it is you could look at it from UEFA's point of view, when they can say, well, they're probably a more attractive Champions League with Man United in there. It's better for their brand. Do you know what I mean? We'll take the 15, you know, they're getting money out of it. You know, don't be, UEFA are saying we'll get 15 million towards good causes, and the 5%, the shortfall that we're going to lose 5% of our revenue, then UEFA are up, because that 5% they're going to keep. So at the end of the day, they're nice. So there could be an ulterior motive for them not banning us. They could be doing it because it suits them as well. I wouldn't rule that out. Smash a like on the video, you lot, and subscribe if you're new. Someone said, Flex, what's your thoughts on playing on the 11th, 13th, or whatever it is? Basically, how mad the schedule is. And my thing is this, simply, obviously it's bad. I do think it's the league's way of saying, sorry, mate, shouldn't have got the Liverpool game called off. That this is what we're going to do to you. And like Ollie said, it's a decision that's made by people who've not played football at that level. There's no way you can maintain the same performance level. Literally one day off and then a game. Tuesday, Thursday. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We're almost going to have to play two completely separate 11s. Because what is it? It's Villa on Sunday. I think you can go strong for that, because, you know, some players got taken off yesterday and it weren't too bad. And Sunday and Thursday to Sunday is what we've been doing anyway. So we can probably go strong against Villa. He's going to have to rest quite a few against Leicester on the Tuesday, ready for the Thursday. Because Sunday, yeah, because then Sunday to Thursday is the normal thing. So it's the Tuesday game that's actually mashing this thing up. So for me, I need to be seeing Matic. I need to be seeing Bailly. I need to be seeing... I mean, Tellers was a bit nuts yesterday. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't really gonna lie. I ain't really trying to talk about that. But Tellers was a bit nuts. But anyway, he has to play, because Luke, you can't just put Luke Shaw in all them games. If we have a shit game and we struggle, because one of these games we're gonna struggle. That's what I will say. One of these games we're gonna struggle, and I think it will probably be. By the time we get to Liverpool game, we could be dead on our feet. To be fair, I think the two middle games. I think the middle game, which is the Leicester game on Tuesday, I think we could potentially struggle with energy then, because one, Ollie's going to have to change the team around a lot, which would usually mean a lack of fluidity, and then hopefully most of the A team should be able to play against Liverpool if everyone's recovered in enough time. So I think we were struggling one of them, and I think we'll see one bad performance, maybe a couple, which, you know what, this end of the season, we got the Europa League final in the bag. Leicester keep losing now. You know, if we can go and get a draw against them or whatever, you know, maybe a couple of draws might not be that bad. We've got enough cushion there. Let me check this Premier League table actually. So what are we? So they're 2-0 down. And we got 67 points. So we're 4 points. We're 4 points ahead of them with 2 games in hand. If this is a loss for them, I mean that's great. And one of the games in hand is them. So you stay. So say worst case scenario, and I mean worst case scenario, we lost against Aston Villa, which I don't think will happen for 1 minute. But if we did, we'd still stay 4 points ahead of them with 1 game in hand, and then we actually play them, so that we still will have a game in hand. Nick a draw, just don't get beat. It ain't the end of the world. We'll be fine. We'll be fine, 100%. And West Ham are still chasing as well. And what are they on? 58 points now. Nah, we're good, mate. We are good. We're 9 points clear of 5th. We ain't gonna lose 3 in a row, and West Ham ain't gonna win 3 in a row. So it is what it is. Well, I say that, you never know. They might. West Ham got who they got soon. It's a difficult one. Is it Chelsea? No, it's not Chelsea. Can't remember who they got, but they got a big game. It might even be Leicester. I don't know. Can't remember. But all I do know is that we have to just take care of ourselves. And if we take a draw, oh yeah, and it's Chelsea City tomorrow as well. It's Chelsea City tomorrow. There you go. I know that they're playing them next. Oh yeah, it's Saturday. Shit, it's Friday. I forgot. So yeah, actually, in essence, it's gonna balance out. I don't think Chelsea will beat Man City. Probably be a draw. Actually, no. I don't know. Actually, that's a close game. It's a close game. But again, hopefully Chelsea drop some points as well. So I think we're fine. But back to what I was saying when someone was asking about the schedule, we've just got to be on it. We've got to be on it. That's the key. I want to talk about Luke Shaw as well. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Man United are planning to offer Luke Shaw contract. Negotiations could start in the next weeks. I mean, really, that is the most nailed on thing that you could say about this whole season. You give Luke Shaw what he wants. You just give him what he wants. I don't care what it is. Don't care the length of the contract. Just give it to him. Luke Shaw. West Ham have Everton. That's the one. And I was like, oh, that's tricky. That was it. I think they'll beat them though. But yeah, Luke Shaw. What a season he's had, man. Like there was a moment in yesterday's game. I don't know if you lot remember it, when the ball got fed into Shaw. He done like a little flick, a Gilberto Carlos flick round the corner. I think it was into Bruno, or it could have been into Donny. One of them. And they set Cavani in and he's through. And I think that's the one where he missed. But the football and lead up to it was just spot on. Spot on. But Luke Shaw's playing on a different level. Bex, if Mbappe leaves, where do you think he will go? Says Broski. Real Madrid? City ain't paying 200 M's. Neither Real Madrid. I don't know. Actually, no, but he's actually probably might not be worth 200 M because he's in his last year of his contract. So, I don't know. But he is really worth 200 M's plus. He's that good. But I don't know. But back to Luke Shaw, like the way he's playing is just he's just levels. Like I remember when I was watching Alphonso Davies when he was obviously ripping it up last season and the season before, I think it was, and I was like, fuck, man. Why can't we have a sick left back? Like, watched it. All I want is like Shaw to do more. It's almost like Shaw just kicked down the door and said, yo, I've arrived. Like, I'm ready. I'd love to know. Like, I know Luke Shaw's done a lot of interviews and stuff, and I've spoken to some people around Luke Shaw, and they assured me it was weird because it was when we played Club Bruges in the Europa League last season in the group stages, and we was in Belgium, and I was talking to some people who know Luke Shaw really well, and they were saying, listen, he knows he's got so much more to give. He knows that he's got potential. You got to remember, Luke's still young. And I thought, you know what? He is kind of still young. It's just because he's been around since he was like 16, 17 at a top level that we forget. And I was like, yeah, but he's got a lot to prove, man. He needs to start kicking on. And lo and behold, 18 months later, look what Luke Shaw's doing. It's almost like they said this would happen. So really, I shouldn't be surprised because these people are probably close to him. But still, I just, what he's doing is just madness. Gavin Blake says, give Luke Shaw a knighthood. Honestly, his attitude is just spot on. But the biggest thing, though, for Luke Shaw is being able to stay injury-free. It is being able to stay injury-free because anytime Luke Shaw has got into a good moment, injuries would always come. Obviously, the biggest one that happened against PSV under LVG when he broke his leg was horrific. And I remember at that time, he was actually playing really well then as well. Not as good as he is now. This is a different level, but it was like, yo, Luke Shaw's on stuff right now. And then the big injury happened. And then after that, he couldn't really get back to a decent level. And then after that, anytime he was getting anything that resembled a good level, he would get injured. So the biggest thing that actually has helped Luke Shaw is being injury free, and it's making him be able to put across how good he actually is, because he can focus on his game and not have to worry about little niggly injuries. Arturo says, Flex, are you going to the Europa League final? I am. We're going out to Poland. We are. It's going to be interesting. Haven't travelled in COVID. First time going on a plane in COVID. I know there's going to be a lot of restrictions. We're waiting to see exactly what the process looks like. We'll know over the coming days, but I am looking forward to it. I can't wait to get out there. Hopefully get a ticket as well. But we will be out there as well in Gdansk, Poland. Big up all the Polish people watching as well. And you have to apply for the ticket, so we have to wait and see. Is KG going as well, Flex? I cannot see KG going Poland, and I don't think he's going. No, I don't think he's going. Another thing I wanted to talk about was David De Gea and Donny van de Beek, and a little bit about Juan Mata, a couple of outgoings, and I saw this earlier on. David De Gea, this is reported by Italian media via Sport Witness. David De Gea has been offered to Roma by George Mendes's agency, and is appreciated by the manager Jose Mourinho. However, it needs to be understood whether Man United will let De Gea go at a low price. Also, Donny van de Beek is on Jose Mourinho's wish list. Roma would need to spend about 30 million. Well, hopefully he remains on Jose Mourinho's wish list and he doesn't get it, and he just remains on the list, because I don't want Donny van de Beek to go. I want us to try and find somewhere to play him. Is it going to be tough? Yes. Can I see exactly where he's going to play? No. But Donny just deserves a chance, man. The kid deserves a chance. But back to David De Gea. The interesting bit about that, what the Italian media were talking about, is the fact that we have to demand a low fee. A low fee. Why? Because we flipping put David De Gea on 375 whatever a week. Nearly 400 grand a week. So who's going to pay them wages, like you said? And who's going to pay 50 million on for David De Gea? So we have to shortchange ourselves again, which is the whole problem with this Dean Henderson situation. The fact that we have almost put ourselves where we're going to lose. We've made it so we're going to lose out. Steve Locke says there is a slight positive with all these games so close together. There is slight positive with all these games together. Is that Ollie could get a feel of the other players and practice his rotation skills? Yeah, because he has to. I do agree with that. He does. He's forced. Like, there's no way. As much as Ollie loves, but then again, Ricky did say a mad thing to me. He goes, "I bet you Bruno will start every game. I bet you Maguire will start every game." Do you think? Because let's face it, he ain't gonna just have 22 players, is he? Literally 111. He ain't gonna do that. There's gonna be some players who start maybe all three of them games, or is there? Do you lot think? Put yes or no in the comments. Yes. Do you think that there are going to be some players who play all three games, or do you think Ollie would definitely avoid that? Because if you think about it, the goalkeeper situation is easy. That's fine. They can interchange. Left back situation is easy. You have to bring in Telles. Where it gets interesting, and J269 United says, "Cheers, Flex, free Donny van de Beek, 100%." Kevin says yes. Jordan says definitely. It's a unanimous yes in the comments. Everyone's saying yes. Same team every game, one person says. Maguire, yes. Well, actually, put the players who you think will play all the games. Doobie Guy says it here. Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Bruno will play all minutes. And that's just it. There's certain positions where you can see a change coming. So Lindelof will be disposable. Yeah? You'll be able to put in Bailly or Tuanzebe. Right back, as we saw, Brandon Williams was a bit nuts yesterday. Settled down, but again, he's been out of the fray. You could rest Wan-Bissaka for him. I dare say he's going to have to do that, but Wan-Bissaka would be a candidate to play all the games. Into midfield, I think he could go in one game, maybe go Fred McTominay, then in one game go Pogba Matic, then in another game put McTominay back in with Matic or put Pogba, and he could probably mix it up so not the same two play. But the constant, Pogba won't play all the games. Bruno, I agree. Bruno will play all the games. I'm going to say Bruno and Maguire play all the games. I'm going to say that Cavani won't, for obvious reasons. Dan James is still injured. Rashford won't play all the games. We're managing him well, or trying to manage him well. And Mason Greenwood won't play all the games. So I'm going to say Bruno and Maguire, I think, will play all 3 games. Because where it gets nuts is that wait there. Oh shit, wait, I forgot that it's Sunday, then 1 day's rest, then a game, then 1 day's rest, then a game. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Rah! Do you know what? I knew it was them days, but I forgot that actually after the Sunday game we have against Villa, it's literally 1 day's rest before Leicester. Then only 1 day. I've only just deeped it. Nah, Ollie, nah. There can't be any players who play all 3 games. There simply can't. And remember, in the Premier League as well, in the Premier League, there ain't none of this 5 substitution business. So it ain't even like they said here, we've fucked you over by making you have all these games in a short space of time, but you can have 5 subs, just you lot can. No, of course they're not going to do that. So really it's very nuts what's going on, because there's no time. There's no time to recoup. So Ollie's going to have to play some weird teams. Seeing that turnaround, I want to see Mata play. I want to see Diallo play. I want to see Brandon Williams. Mata, Ahmad, Williams, Tuanzebe, Bailly, that's 5. Matic is 6. Donny is 7. Tellez is 8. Dean Henderson, let's say, is another because he doesn't normally play. But you don't really count the keeper. But that's 9 players. That's nearly a full team. Who else could play who don't normally play? That's pretty much it. Because you know what else as well I'm deep in? We ain't really got depth like that. We haven't even got a whole nother team. City could play a whole nother team. Martial, if he's back as well, yeah, 100%. Shoreteri, yeah, bring in Shoreteri just for some numbers and give him a game. Like, you can't let Bruno play on Sunday, even though Bruno said some madness where he was like, I used to kick ball for like however many hours and that was never enough, so this ain't enough. You know what Bruno's like. You can't play Bruno on Sunday, Hannibal as well, and then the day after have a recoup and then start him again. It's very nuts. I don't know. I don't like it. I do not like it whatsoever, man. I can't see it happening. I really can't. He's got to change it. He's got to change it. He has, because you know what else I'm thinking as well. I do not want any one of these players getting big injuries. You've got a Europa League final in a few weeks, yeah, and we need everybody there. Hey Tatch says hashtag no room for racism. Big up yourself, man. Definitely no room for racism ever. Flex, could the keeper be rotated? Says Wyatt. Yeah, I mean, even though it doesn't really, the keeper could play every single game. Keepers are all right, but it's the games are that. Phil Jones, man, is saying. Phil Jones, imagine. It's actually so mad what's happening with Phil Jones. Like, so does he just train by himself then? Is he just not, like, does he even go carrying, or does he just train down the park or something? Like, I thought it's mad, but we still give him over 100 bags a week. I kind of feel a bit sorry for Phil Jones, because he never asked to be put on an extended contract. Well, he probably did ask, actually. Actually, no, I don't feel sorry for Phil Jones. He's had his chance. He's not good enough. But I do sometimes feel a bit sorry for him. Like, the way sometimes we speak about him. It's not nice. He's been at the club a long time and he has won stuff with us. And you know, some seasons he was actually pretty decent. He was. I wanted to touch on that. Where is it? Oh, Pereira, that was it. Bring Pereira and Dallo back from loan, says Imani, just to help us out for a couple of games and then say go back. Yeah. But on Pereira, actually, he was saying basically, they know what I want to do. I'm here at Lazio. I like it here. They have the option to buy me if they want to. And if they don't, if they really want me, they can basically buy me. If they don't, I will have to go back to Manchester United and assess my options. So he's saying he wants to stay at Lazio. When we sent him there with the on a loan with the option to buy for 25 million, I was like, fucking hell though, man. It's tight. He's going to have a great season for them to buy him for 25 million because Pereira's not a 25 million pound player. He's not. He the only reason he might be is because we're trying to put Man United tax on it because he's played for us. He's played in Champions League and that, but he's not at the level. So I can't see us. I think he's a 15 million pound player, 20 tops, because he's got the Brazilian passport thing. But other than that, he's not. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, man. Dope show. Thanks for everyone for rocking with me today. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit the notifications in the bottom right hand corner as well. And let it commence. It's going to be a nuts weekend. Do you know what I mean? Also, I don't know if you see Zayn Miasi anywhere. Let us know. Let us know he's safe. He came through with £100 super chat, which was his Gdansk money, because he was just spending money for Poland, and he never got to spend it, so he started spending on super chats. But we need to know Zayn is all right. You know what I mean? We need to know Zayn is all right. But yeah, anyway, I'm out of here, guys. Speak again